Hello, everyone. Welcome today to my session, which is organized by Microsoft 365 Live 2021. And before I start or talk about anything, I would like to thank all the sponsors for the event, because without these sponsors, the event would have not been possible. So today I'll be giving you a session on, showing some conditional formatting tricks in Power BI. So I'll just show you a few tricks that I have used in the reports that I have worked on previously in my WorkX, and how you can just add a little bit of extra charm to your reports. So before I start the session, what I'll do is I just want to give a little introduction about myself. So those who don't know me, my name is Pragati Jain, and I'm a Microsoft Data Platform MVP. I'm also one of the super user at Microsoft Power BI community. So if any of you guys are active on Microsoft Power BI community, you'll see me there very active, helping others with Power BI related queries on the forum. I have got nearly 10 plus years of industry experience. So in the earlier years, I started my career as a database developer. But after a few years, I moved to pursue my master's in data science and analytics. And from last few years, I'm working into analytics industry. And currently, I'm working as a senior data analyst at Trustpilot here in London. One fun fact about me is I'm a painter, and I proudly call myself a techie artist. Now, before I start the session, I would like to lay out agenda for today's session. So like what all topics I'll be covering and what all things I'll be showing you. So first thing, this is like a one slide and all demo session. So I've just got this slide about the whole session, and everything I'll be showing you live in Power BI desktop. Now, in this session, I'll try to cover a few different, ways of applying conditional formatting to a report in Power BI. I'll start with the default formatting option that Power BI already gives us, like background color formatting, font color formatting, data bars, and how we can add icon formatting as well. Then further down the session, I'll show how we can use custom measures, to create these kind of formatting options and custom icons as well. Further down the line, I'll also show you, how we can apply this conditional formatting at visual level. So this is more around the experience I had with the reports I've worked on. So, I just want to show you a few tricks around how, we can have conditional titles on the visuals that we're working on based on slicer selection, and how we can change the background color of a, visual conditionally using a custom measure. So let's not wait anymore, and let's just start the session. I'll just check the, great, okay. So what I'll be doing, right, like I have got like a Power BI file. And in this Power BI file, I've already imported the data set, which I'll be using to show you these tips and tricks today. Now, the thing is, I'll be, switching between the Power BI file and my PowerPoint, because the reason only I'll be doing is this. I just want to make sure I cover everything I have on today's agenda. OK, so let's start with, some basic background about what data I'm using, and then I'll just start with the default formatting options. OK, so in Power BI, what I've done is I've got a data set, which is more around, sales from products from a supermarket. And this data set I got from Kaggle website. It is a freely available data set, so any one of you can just go and download it. And it's known as supermarket sales data. So if you just search that on Kaggle data set area, you'll just get that, and you can just get in, download that file. So I got this data set, and this data, what information this data has got is like, if you can see some invoice IDs. Now, invoice IDs are basically transactional ID. They are basically, if someone makes a purchase against a product, then an invoice ID is generated. OK, so that's the invoice ID. And using this, we can identify individual transactions against the products. OK, further, if I can see the transactions at different cities, then I can see what kind of customers have done the transactions. Like there could be members, a member of the stores, and there could be normal customers like us who are not member of the stores. I've got some information around gender. I've got the product line. So product line could be different areas of products like electronic accessories, fashion accessories, food, beverages, and so on. Then I've got some information around the price of these products. So you can see unit price, the quantity, like against these products, how many of these products have been bought or transacted against. Then I can see some total price. So total price is more unit price plus tax. So that's the total price. Then I can see a date, which is more around the transaction date when the transaction against these products took place in this supermarket. Then I can see the payment type, like whether it was paid by cash or credit card or e-wallet was used, and so on. Then the other column, which is important, is more around the rating column. So rating column is a rating. Just consider it as a rating based on the feedback given by customers regarding what experience they had with their purchase when they were, transacting for some certain products at the supermarket. So that's just the basic idea what this data is about. And obviously we don't need to go into details of this data and think more logical things, because it's more around showing you things. So yeah, let's just start with the default conditional formatting what we have in Power BI. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just start by creating a simple table, and in this table I'll move simple elements. So what I'll do is I'll just move like invoice ID. Then I can move product line. So product line is more around what kind of product. Then let's move the quantity column. Okay, so I can see like how many of these products have been bought in the superstore. Okay, if you want, you can move the total price as well. Okay, that works fine. And what I'll do is I'll just give a title to this chart. So this is basically. So in this, I'll be showing you background default formatting in Power BI. So I'm just giving it that kind of title. So we know what we are trying to, replicate in the visual background color formatting. Okay, so that's the thing I'm starting with. Okay, so that's my visual. And the last thing, I'll just give it a border. Okay, now let's work on how we can give a background color formatting to say the total price column, or maybe let's give a background color formatting to the product line column based on the total price. Okay, so for that, what you do is just click on your visual, and under formatting options, there's something called conditional formatting. Expand that option. And now I want to give conditional formatting, that is my background color formatting, to my product line column. Okay, so the first thing we do is we select the column on which we want to apply the conditional formatting. So I select my column. Okay, now once I select the column, I have got different options, right? I can apply background color, I can apply font color, I can do icon formatting, or I can even do some web URL kind of formatting. But I'll be covering others in the session as we go down the line, but I'll start with the background color. Okay, so now I want to apply background color, so I switch on this option. Once I switch on this option, Power BI opens a window. Okay, now this is like a new window that has opened up. Now, when you see it, you see certain options there. So first thing, how you want this background color conditional formatting to be. Now, there are three options. One is color scale, one is rules, and one is field value. I'll start with how we can use the basic color scale to do the conditional formatting, but I'll also tell you how you can apply rules and field values to it. Okay, so let's start with color scale. And currently, I want to apply this conditional formatting only to the values. I don't want it to be applied to the total values, but if you have got a numeric field like total price or quantity, you can apply that conditional formatting to totals only, or you can apply it to both values and totals. Okay, now I want the background conditional formatting on my product line based on the quantity column, like how much of these products have been bought. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just search my quantity column here. Okay, and I just want to see total quantity against every product. Then, so my summarization is sum, but you are free to choose any summarization. So like average, minimum, maximum, count, however you want it to be. And the third option here is a default formatting for, suppose if in your data you have, or in your column you have values which are zero. So suppose if you have got so many zeros in your column, right? So you have an option like how you can show those zero values on your visual. So either you can give them a specific color, or you can just show them as zero, or don't format them. In my case, I'll just show them as zero, because the thing is my data hasn't got anything like zero in it. So I don't have to worry about that option. Then the third thing, last thing what you see here is like you can see the colors. So when you apply a color scale background formatting or conditional formatting, then you need to define some kind of colorings. OK, now currently you can only see two options here, like the minimum value will have this light color and maximum value will have this blue color, and you get a color band between this minimum and maximum value. Now, suppose if I want to add a third color to it, I just don't want two colors, I want a third color. So what you can do is you can choose an option called diverging. As soon as you choose this option, a third color appears here, and then you can choose the color scale how you want it to be. So if I do this and click OK, then my product line coloring background color has been changed based on the color scale I have given based on the total quantity column. Now, suppose if I just want to change the colors, I don't like them. So what I can do is I can again select the visual, go to conditional formatting, select my product line column where the conditional formatting is built. Click on the advanced control and I can change the color. So for example, if I want to go somewhere between red to green, so I can choose red to green. So let's choose actual red. This is red. OK, so that's my medium amber works. Only the highest value, what I'll do is I'll choose something into green. So I'll choose a green color. OK, and if I just click OK, I get a color band between those three colors, starting from red to amber and amber to green. So that's the kind of background color formatting you can do. And suppose if you want to test it, so we can just sort them and see how the things have been, because our product line background color is based on quantity column, right? So the minimum value will start with red color, and as the minimum value increases, then the color changes between red to amber to green. Right, so that's the basically color formatting you can do, background color formatting. Now suppose if we want to add some rules, okay, what I'll do, I'll just copy paste this visual. Okay, and what I'll do is now I'll try to put some background color formatting on my total price column. Okay, and what I'll do again, I'll click on the visual, I go to format options, go to conditional formatting. Now what I'll do, I'll remove this product line background formatting, or you can keep it. I mean, you can apply conditional formatting on multiple columns as well, so it's fine. But yeah, let's just remove it for now. So we are just clear on things what we are doing. So I want to apply a conditional formatting on my total price column, and that's a background color for now. So I toggle that, use that, and I want to set some rules. Okay, so I open that window. Now here we saw before, like under format by option, we can see options like color scale, rules, and field value. Color scale is something what we saw here. So let's just go to rules, how we can assign those rules, okay, on a value. So I select rules. I again want to apply it at my values only, so I just use that. And now what I want is I want to apply on my total price. Okay, that's fine. Now here I can set some rules. Now how I can set some rules is, it's a simple if else condition. I mean, if my value is greater than this or less than this, then give it this color. Or if it is between some other values, then give it this color. So we'll just try to create a simple rule here. OK, so what I'll do is I'll just start with something like maybe 10. And OK, now my values in this column are numeric values. I mean, they are numeric, right? Number format. So that's why I'm using a number type of condition here. But if your values are in percentage, you can actually apply something on a percentage column as well. So I'll choose my number and I'll give it like a range. OK, if it is less than equal to maybe 250, then give it a color like something like this. Then if you want to add new rule, click on that new rule. OK, and in this case, I'll again give my condition like greater than 250, and that's a number. And if it is less than equal to say 500, then maybe give it a color something like this. I'll add further down the line few rules like greater than 500, it's a number, and it is less than equal to say 750, then give it a color say blue. And the last rule what I'll add is greater than 750 and say less than equal to 1500. And I'll give it a color like anything could be red. OK, let's give it green. OK, now when I click OK, now my colors are based on the rules. OK, so suppose if I sort it, so you can see anything above 750 is given a green color. Anything between 750 and 500 is given a blue color. Anything below 500 but greater than 250 is given this amber color, and remaining, below 250 but greater than 10 is given that pink color. Okay, so that's how you can create basic rules. Now, one disadvantage of this rule, what I feel, is suppose if you don't know the maximum value in your column. Okay, now I have seen this data, I worked on it before, so I knew like what is the maximum value in my data. Then in that case, you suppose if I just give it 1,000, then I may end up with few values which are left out, because the maximum value in my total price column is, I think, somewhere around $1,100. But if I just set it to 1,000, then I'll be missing those cases. Okay, so you really need to know, what are the minimum and maximum values in the column you're working with when you're trying to apply rules here. But we can handle these kind of challenges when we are using custom measures to create these kind of conditional formatting. So that's something I'll show you. But I wanted to highlight that this is kind of a disadvantage in a way, like if the user is, or if the developer is not aware of the maximum minimum values in the column you are using conditional formatting, then these rules could be a little tricky. So basically you need to go back to the data, check the min max value, and then try to come up with the rules. But yeah, we can easily handle them with some custom measures, which I'll show you in some time. So that's basically how you can, use rules to apply those kind of conditional formattings. Now let's just switch back to the slide. Okay, we have seen the default background color formatting. Let's go to the font color formatting. Now on the font color formatting, I'll just, copy one of my visual. Okay, and I'll just change the title. This is font color formatting. Okay, and this and we'll see the first option. What we'll see is the default color scale. Okay, so I'm just giving it a title that way. So now what I'll do is, rather than giving a background color formatting to this column, I'll try to give a font color formatting. Okay, so let's click on the visual. Again, go to format options, go to conditional formatting. Now I'll go to the product line again, remove the background color, but I want to add font color. So I use this option, a new window opens. And again, what I'll do, I'll show you the color scale example first and then rule based, and field value is something we'll see in the third iteration. So I'll go with color scale. I'll apply my font color formatting to values only. And now this will be based on total price. So I'll just take the total price column here. And total price, that's why my summarization, I'm keeping it to sum. You can do it on average, minimum, maximum as well. Okay. Rest of the options I'll keep same, just that I'll make sure I choose some dark colors, because the reason is, suppose if I go with these, light colors and click OK, my conditional format, my font color formatting is very light, right? I can't see them properly, right? So for font color formatting, make sure you're using some darker colors, because your font should be visible on the visuals, right? When someone is reading them, they should know what it is, right? So what I'll do is I'll just change few colors, start with blue, maybe go with this, and maybe go with that. Okay, so something like this. So at least our colors are, at least you can read the fonts, right? I know my colors are still matching, but yeah, you can, play around with different colors as well here. So maybe green and orange. So yeah, so that's how you can do this, by using the default options. Now let's see the rule based as well. So I'll just copy paste this visual and I'll go there. And what I'll do, I'll just change the title to make sure that what we're trying to show here. So I'll just write it as rules. Now in rules, what we'll do is, again, I'll try to put the similar kind of formatting. So I'll click on the visual, go to conditional formatting, and let's put the font formatting on, again, product line, but we'll just use the rules. Okay, so I click that and I get the window. Now in format by, I'll use the rules. And the rules could be total price, or it could be quantity as well. Let's do it on quantity this time. Okay, so I'll choose the quantity column, and it could be sum, or you can choose the count as well. Okay, it can be any summarization. And similarly, we'll create some rules. So like, for example, if it is greater than equal to 1, and suppose if it is less than equal to 4, then give it a dark blue color, or maybe this color. I'll add another rule. If it is greater than 4 and it is less than equal to say 7, then give it like a purple color. And the last rule what I'll give is if it is greater than 7, but it is less than or equal to 12, then give it something like red or green. And I mean any color, whatever you want, and click OK. So now I can see the conditional formatting on this column, which is a font color formatting based on my quantity column. OK, so suppose I can check that. If I sort this out, I can see anything between 7 and 8 and 10 will have like green color. Anything between, less than 8 but greater than 4 will have something like purple color, and anything below 4 will have a blue color. So that's the simple rule. So we saw that before for background as well. The similar can be done for font color formatting. Now quickly I'll show you something on data bars, how we can generate data bars in our visual. OK, so the first thing we'll do is we'll just get this and we'll just rename the title. So this is basically data bars. OK. Now data bars is something you can actually add bars to your numeric value. So for example, if I click on this visual and go to formatting option and go to conditional formatting. Now suppose if I want to add bars to my total price or say quantity. OK, I see this option data bars, I switch it on. I get some default bars here. OK, now I want to see how Power BI has done that. So for that, click on advanced control. A new window opens. OK, now this is showing you some details how Power BI has given you some, data bars against the quantity column. Now by default, OK, let's start with the options first. OK, so there is an option if you just want to see the bar, but not the value. OK, but I prefer seeing both the things because sometimes just showing the bars can't be, easy for users to understand. But it's up to you if your report is that, granular or it is that level of self-explained in a good way to the users, then maybe you can just go with the data bars only. OK, not the value. So you can choose that option. Now by default, what Power BI does is, so these data bars are kind of showing you a progression on that column based on the minimum and maximum value in that quantity column. OK, so that's how it is showing you the data bars. Now the coloring of the data bars. Currently in this data, I have only got positive values, but sometimes you can be, working with the data sets which have got negative values also and positive values also. So in the data bars kind of formatting, you have an option to assign a certain color to your negative values as well. OK, so you can give them a certain color like maybe red and give positive values a green. Right, so you can do something like that. But in this data set, I don't have anything negative, so I don't have to worry about it, whatever color it is. But yeah, for positive bar, I can just choose some color, OK, whatever I need. So let's go for blue. And here you have got an option, something called bar direction. So like how you want your data bars to be. So for example, if you want it from left to right or you want it from right to left. For me, I mean, as I understand a progression data bar, generally it should go from left to right. But if in some requirements you want it to be from right to left, then you have option to choose something like right to left here. OK, then the axis. Now axis color is something from where your data bar starts. Currently it is black. Now suppose if I want to give it a color like red so that it just pops out, then that axis color will change to red. I can show it to you. So once I click OK, those colors I can see. If you see, there's a little red axis here. So that's how you create these data bars, I mean, for formatting purposes. And suppose if you just want data bars, let's see how our data looks. OK, so what I'll do, I'll again go to the quantity column. I'll go to advanced controls against data bars. And what I'll do, I'll just select show bars only. OK, and click OK. So it will just show me bars and it doesn't show me quantity. So that's how, you can just modify it as per your requirements. So that's how you can apply these data bars. And just to test them, whether they are between minimum and maximum, you can just sort this column and see it. So if you sort quantity for 10, most of the bar is finished, right? And it's the complete bar, and as it goes down, the bar size decreases, right? So that tells you it's kind of showing you a progression between minimum and maximum value. So if I sort it again, the minimum value has got a very small bar, right? So that's how the data bars work. They show a progression on that column or cell value from minimum to maximum, between minimum and maximum value. So that's what the data bars were. OK, now let's quickly see how we can apply icon formatting. So what I'll do, I'll just copy this visual and paste it on my new tab. OK, I'll just check I haven't missed anything. Yeah, looks fine. Let's just see the icon formatting, and then I'll show you some custom measures how we can use to give you more flexibility around those formatting options. So now what I'll do is in this existing visual, I try to apply icon formatting on my total price column. OK, so what I'll do, I'll click on my visual, same thing. First, let's just change the title because it is icon formatting. OK, now I'll go to conditional formatting. I want to apply conditional formatting on my total price. I select my total price. Now, what type of conditional formatting I want? I want icons. So I switch that button on. Once I switch that button on, Power BI by default gives me some kind of icons here. OK, let's see what rules Power BI has used. OK, let's make these a little bigger. They look good. And so let's click on the advanced control. OK, now when we apply icon formatting, there are only two options available for format by option. One is by rules and second is field value. Now field value is more around using custom measure, which I'll show you just after this. So the default one is based on rules. OK, and we are applying in our case only two values. That's fine. Now here you can choose based on what field you want it to be. Currently Power BI just did it based on the same column, but let's try it on the quantity column. OK, sorry, I mistyped that. So that's my quantity. OK, then I can choose the summarization. For me, sum is fine. Now the next thing is icon layout. So where you want your icons to be, should they be on left? Should they be on right? Let's choose right. And you also even have option just to show icons rather than the values in the same way you had for data bars. OK, let's choose right of the data. And then you can choose the icon alignment, whether they should be top, middle or bottom. OK, so you can choose. Let's keep it to top. Now the style. Now the style is basically what kind of icons you want to use. OK, so when I expand this drop down, I can see Power BI has given me so many choices to choose those icons from. So these are the default icons which will suit in most of the scenarios. But if you want some custom icons, then I'll show you how we can do that as well. So that's the icons we can choose from. So you can choose something else as well if you want, right? So you can choose anything from here. Let's choose these. Now, if you see the rules, Power BI has given some default rules, which are based on the percentage of the values or the proportion of values seen in this column. Now, what Power BI does by default is like the first 33% of the values are given this icon. The next 30% of the values are given this icon, and the other 30%, remaining 30% is remaining 67 to 100% is given this icon. But you can modify these rules. OK, so let's modify these rules and let's give it on the numeric field. OK, so we are using a quantity column, which is a numeric. So let's set our rules in that way. OK, so if the quantity is greater than equal to 1, so these will be the similar kind of rules we set up before. Less than equal to 4, give it this icon. If it is greater than 4, choose the number. And if it is less than equal to, say, 7, then give it this icon. And if it is greater than 7 and it is number, and if it is less than or equal to, say, 10, then give it this icon. OK, and click OK. Once you do that, my icons are in that way, and I can check them. If I sort my quantity column, every quantity between 8 to 10 will have this icon, the right icon. Every total price row which will have quantity between 7 and 5 will have this amber color of icon, and anything below 5 will have the other icon. Oh, why it is not showing the other icon? Oh, I think I gave the wrong thing. It should have been less than, oh, I gave it less than, that's why 4, and it's not considering the 4. So we need to change that. Okay, once I change that, I see that icon. So anything from 1 to 4 will have this red icon. Anything from 5 to 7 will have this amber icon, and anything from 8 to 10 will have the green icon. Perfect. So that's fine. OK, so yeah, make sure you're writing the rules properly, because sometimes that less than equal to or greater than equal to can make things different, right? So yeah, just do it that way. So yeah, that's the basically default icon formatting we can do in Power BI. Now, let's just see how we can use custom measures. OK, so on the slide, we covered the default formatting options. OK, now let's just do some custom measures for background formatting and font formatting. And then we'll also see some way to bring in some custom icons. OK, so let's go to Power BI back, and I'll go to this. I'll just copy this visual and I'll just change it. OK, so I'll just paste it here. And the first thing I'll do is I'll just change the title. This is custom. Let me show you custom background formatting first. Then I'll show you custom font formatting as well. So now in this, now suppose if I want to give some kind of custom colors, OK, to my product line as a background, how will I do it? Simple. We just create a measure. I've already created that, so I'll show it to you. So what this measure is doing, it's basically considering my total price column. And if my price is between $10 and $250, give it certain color. If it is between $250 and $500, give it certain color. Rest and for the remaining values, give it this color. OK, it's a simple measure. Now, how we use this measure in the visual, I'll show that to you. So what I'm doing now is I want my product line column to have a background color based on the measure we just did. OK, so I'll click on this, go to the formatting option, same way, go to conditional formatting, go to product line. Now font color is already there. Let's remove that. I want background color, so I switch that on. Now, if you remember, in background color, format by had an option called color scale, rules, and field value. Now, field value is something where Power BI allows you to choose some custom column or custom measure that you have created for giving that formatting to your column. OK, so click on that. I want to apply it to values only. Now here you can select that custom measure. OK, and in my case, my custom measure name was conditional color. So I select that and I just click OK. Now see, it has given it that color. Let me just increase the size. Sorry, guys, if that's not. Oh, that's quite a big size, but that's fine. Let's just make these things little. OK. OK, so yeah, we have got it, and I'm hoping now these should be clear. So we basically just created 3 conditions. So if the total price is between 10 to 50, then give it this color. This is basically color code for red. If any price is between 250 to 500, give it this color, which is like a orangish color, and else give it a green color. OK, so that's what that measure was, and that's what it is giving. So suppose if I sort this total price, so anything between I think 500 to 1000 or anything. OK, let's go with the lowest one. So anything between 10 to 250 was given red color. So if I scroll further down, go further down, go further down, then I can see like anything between 10 to 250 is given red color. Anything above 250 and I think between 7 and less than 500 is given this amber orange color. Rest everything is given green color. So that's how we use that custom measure to add that conditional formatting to a visual. Now suppose if you want to do same thing to a font formatting, you can do it. So let's just duplicate this page. I'll just bring it here. Come on, come here. OK, and what I'll do is I'll just rename it because this is custom measure font. So how we can give font coloring. So we'll do simply. We click on the visual. Okay. Just change this. This is okay. Now what I'll do, click on the visual, go to conditional formatting. I'll do the same. I'll use the same colors to give font formatting to the product line column. So I click my product line column. I don't want background, but this time I want font. So I click on font coloring, a window opens. And in this case, I'll again choose the field value option, which will allow me to select my measure, which I just created. So I click on that field value and I'll just search my measure name, which is this, and I'll just click OK. So you can see now the font formatting is based on the custom measure what we created. So that's how you can use a custom format to give a custom measure to give a background and font custom formatting. Now let's see how we can use this to create some custom icons. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just copy this visual again. I just don't want to spend time in recreating them. So yeah, so that's what I'm trying to do here. And what I'll do, I'll just add a new column to it, which was rating column. OK, so where is my rating? And what I'll do is I'll move the average rating. OK, so that's my rating column. And I'll just check if my rating column is that's fine. I don't want it to be like that. And I'll just display it as a 0 decimal place because it is average. That's why it's showing it that way. But yeah, we have got the average rating. Now what I'll do is I'll try to add some icon formatting to this column, but that will be completely based on the custom icon I've created. OK, so if I click on this visual and if I go to formatting options, I go to conditional formatting and I go to my average rating and I want to add icons. So I click on that. Power BI gives me default icons. That's fine. I go to advanced control and here I can actually use a field value. OK, so that field value, same thing. I can choose a measure to get some custom icons. But let me show you how custom icons can be bought into Power BI. So when we go to this option, like Power BI gives us these many options, but suppose what if you want some other icons to be used as your icons on the data now? Now, one way what I have read about previously is, you can bring in some kind of JSON files, which have got some JSON coding and for these custom icons, and you can import them in Power BI. So here you can have those additional icons. OK, but I haven't tried that way again. Way previously, but the only way what I have used most of the time is something I'll show you. OK, so what we can do is we can create a measure for this. So for example, what I've done is I created a measure called conditional icon. And what this measure is simply doing, it's taking into account my average rating, what's in this visual represented, and what we're doing, if my average rating is between 1 and 5, refer something this, and this is basically a simple web URL. OK, and web URL for a GIF image. You can also get normal JPG or PNG or JPEG, any format of image here, but I have went with a GIF image. So I'm just giving a URL and Power BI will take it as an icon in a table visual. OK, and so my conditions are, if my average rating is between 1 and 5, then I want this image or this GIF. If my average rating is between 5 and 7, then I want this image as an icon. Else I want this image. The remaining third condition is just this image as an icon. So what I'll do is same thing. Click on my visual, go to formatting option, go to conditional formatting. We want it on the average rating. Go to advanced control, and in this I'll select field value. And here I'll just search for my measure. In this case, it is conditional icons. OK, and let's put it on the right and I'll just click OK. Now, if you see, these are the kind of GIF icons. I hope you guys can see that. I mean, I can just make the size a little more bigger. Let me just move the price column. It's just. So if you see this, you can see like these are the GIF icons. So if I sort it, for example, in ascending order, so any rating between 1 to 4 was given this red. and any, I think 1 to 5 or 1 to 4. Okay, any rating between 1 to 5 is given this red star. Any rating between 6 to I think 8 is given this golden star, and rest everything above 7 is given this green star. So that's a way of doing this. I mean, that's one way of bringing custom icons in Power BI, but there could be other ways as well. I mean there could be multiple ways of achieving same thing in Power BI, but this is like one of the tricks I have used multiple times on the report I have worked on, because in most of the scenarios, I don't need to import like, hundreds of different icon combinations. In most of the reports, I can just get it done using this kind of custom, measure where I can bring in some images from online as an icon. So that's how, you can just do it quite quickly. But yeah, if there's a need, you want like hundreds of icon combination, then I would say go with that JSON formatting one. And I think you'll find very good blogs on these if you search online. So that's how, we can use the custom icons. Now, the last thing what I want to cover quickly is visual level conditional formatting. Now, first thing what I'll cover on visual level conditional formatting is to create some kind of conditional titles. Okay, so let's just create a simple table again. And what I'll do in this table is I'll just bring in some date. Maybe I'll just keep it at month year level. I'll bring in my product line, and maybe I can bring total quantity for those products that have been sold and total price against them. So it's basically just, a summary kind of, information at a product level. Okay, so we have just got few rows in there. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll give it a title first. Okay, so let's say this is like summary of products. Okay, perfect. Simple visual showing you some summary numbers against different product line for different time period. Okay, now suppose if I have a slicer. Okay, so let's create a slicer. Let's move the slicer here. And I'll just move the product line to the slicer. Now, what I want basically is the functionality here is when I don't select anything in the slicer, obviously we all are who are working with Power BI, we are aware if we select anything in the slicer, it will slice and dice the data in other visuals on the page and show the data at that level based on the selection. But what I'm trying to achieve here is, suppose if I don't select anything in my slicer, my title should remain summary of products. But suppose if I select something like fashion accessories in the slicer, then my title should change to summary of product line fashion accessories. Okay, so basically whatever I'm doing, I'm selecting in my slicer, I'm trying to get that reflected on the title on my visual. Okay, so for that, again, simple. We just create like a measure, which is a conditional measure. And in this case, what it's doing is it's just, checking like if I have selected anything in my slicer, then the slicer should basically show something like summary of product line and the selection against it concatenated. And suppose if I don't select anything in the slicer, then it should just show summary of products. Okay, and obviously I'm not going into the details of the DAX expression because this session is not focused on explaining the DAX, but it's more around showing the capability of conditional measures on these kind of different conditional title or formattings. So once we create that, so what we can do is, as we can use custom measures for formatting options, we can use custom measures to create titles on a visual. So for that, what we'll do is click on the visual, go to formatting option, go to title. Now we gave a default title, right? Summary of products, but I want this title to change with the conditional measure I created, right? So I'll just click on this function icon. When you click on the functional icon, Power BI gives you flexibility to select a custom field. Okay, in this case, it is conditional title, and I'll click OK. Okay, so when I haven't selected anything, it shows summary of products. Okay, now suppose if I select fashion accessories, ideally now my title should change. Okay, when I select it, it show me summary of product line fashion accessories. Now what happens when I select and make another selection in the slicer? Suppose if I select health and beauty. So by default, my conditional title shows me summary of product line health and beauty, comma, fashion accessories. So if I make multiple selections, it keeps on adding and showing me what information it is showing for what kind of product lines. OK, so that's how we build the measure. We don't select anything. It shows summary of products. At the time we select, make a selection from the slicer, it changes our title to just show like, this is now showing the information for food and beverages product line. So in the reports where I have found it useful is especially, giving the precise information to the users on the visual, because sometimes on the reports you can end up with like multiple filters or slicers, guys. So it's not like you always have one slicer, right? You have multiple slicers. So when the users start using those multiple slicers and get started interacting with the reports, then these kind of conditional titles can help them, in just understanding the information by seeing things rather than working out in mind how the information has been sliced and diced. So in that scenarios, these conditional titles really help. Now the last one, what I want to show you is something like conditional background color. For that, what I'll do, I'll just create a simple chart visual. Yeah, so this is basically a simple clustered column chart. I'll move my date here and I'll keep it to month year granularity. And what I'll do is I'll just show total price as my metric here. I'll take it to my month year granularity. And what I'll do is I'll add my product line as a legend here. Where is my product line? OK. Now what we'll try to do on this visual is basically we'll try to change the background color of the visual based on a slicer selection. OK, so for example, let's create a slicer. Suppose if I create a slicer for my rating column. OK, sorry about that. So I'll just move the rating column there. Got the time. Move it as a slicer. I'll show it as a list. OK, so my rating is somewhere between 4 to 10. OK, just make these a little bigger in size so they are easily visible. OK, so that's the rating. OK, perfect. So that's the slicer. Now what I want is, suppose if I select on 4, the background color of my visual should change. Now what I mean by background color is when I click on the visual, go to format option, there's something called background. By default, it is shown white. I can change it to anything like black or blue, right? But I want to make this color conditional based on, the selection coming from the slicer. OK, so for that, again, same thing, we'll create a measure. So what this measure is basically doing is it is just, taking in the value from the rating slicer, what I have got here. And if the value is between 1 and 5, then give it certain color. If the value is between 6 and 7, then give it certain color. And if the value is between 8 and 10, give it certain color. And if there is any other value, then just keep it white. Keep it white means if I don't select anything, just keep the background white. OK, so simple thing. So when I'm not selecting anything, my background color is this. But let's first add that conditional measure to a background color, right? So same way, click on your visual, go to format option, go to background, use the function icon where we can select a custom measure. Click on that, choose the field value, which will allow us to select a custom measure. Click on this option and select the measure and click OK. Now when I haven't selected anything, it's white. When I select 4, it goes blue. When I select 7, it goes red. When I select 9, it goes yellow. And if I don't select anything, it goes white. So simple trick around changing the background color in the same way we did for conditional titles or, getting custom measures for doing the background formatting and font formatting. Now, in many ways, conditional formatting can be really powerful, especially, suppose if you're working with some time series data, or where you're trying to show the trends, then these conditional formatting can really help in adding value to your reports. Because when you give some basic colors, right, like for example red, green, amber, they clearly shows green is good, red is bad. I mean, these are the standards, right? And amber is neutral. So those kind of things can really help you in adding bits to your reports. So I think that's where conditional formatting should be used, especially when you're trying to show some progressions, you're dealing with numbers, sales numbers. Then yeah, these things can really help in adding that extra charm to your report. And it just makes things clear to the user as well, right? Like how things are going, how the trends have been, they have been bad or not, or how the things are compared with the total price column, right? So those kind of things can be really helpful when you can use these kind of conditional tips and tricks in Power BI. So yeah, guys, I think this is what I wanted to show you. And yeah, one thing, if you guys have any questions, you guys can contact me on LinkedIn, Twitter, or I've got my own blog website, so you can drop me an email or message there. And yeah, I mean, if you have any queries regarding the session or any queries regarding Power BI or anything else, just feel free to contact me on social networking. And yeah, thank you so much, Microsoft 365, for giving me chance to present this session. And yeah, thank you for the lovely audience who are here hearing me out. And yeah, I'm happy to take if there are any questions.